We are the heirs to the civilizing movements of the last century. We are the heirs to the civil rights movement, to the women's movement, to the LGBT movement, the human rights movement, the peace movement, the labor movement, the environmental movement, the climate change movement. That's who we are. That's who we are, okay? Good morning, everybody. I'm delighted to see you here in Baltimore. And I bumped into a constituent this morning, and she said to me, "So where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Baltimore to talk to the Ethical Union." She said, "You're preaching to the choir." I said, "I like preaching. The choir needs to be preached to, too." Thrilled to be with you guys. And I thought I would try to talk about the values that inform our struggle and the conflict that we're in today. And I'm hoping it intersects with the theme of your conference. And I'm delighted to be here with Adam and Hugh and all the great leaders. So we're here in a nonpartisan spirit, or a cross-partisan, or transpartisan, so I thought I would start by striking a bipartisan note by invoking our last great Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. And this is the tantalizing, beautiful, always elusive ideal of American government and society. Remember, before America, it was all kings, and the kings got their power directly from God. And then under the king, you had the queen, and then you had the nobles, and you had the church, and at the very bottom, you had the people. The people were at the bottom, at best, right? It has only been through successive waves of social and political struggle and constitutional struggle that we have opened America up. And the Civil War and the Reconstruction Amendments gave us the abolition of slavery, equal protection and due process, and in the 15th Amendment, no discrimination in voting. And the 17th Amendment in 1913 gave us direct election of U.S. senators after the struggle of the populists. And the 19th Amendment gave us women's suffrage in 1920. And the modern civil rights movement in the 1960s, uplifting the slogan of one person, one vote, challenged Jim Crow and apartheid in America. And so with Brown versus Board of Education and the social struggle on the ground, we were able to pass the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And that, in turn, set off a chain reaction with the modern women's movement, the LGBT movement, the environmental movement. So we have been in a process of rediscovering who we are as a people. And because everything that we believe in has been put up for grabs. And the answer to the assault on our Constitution, the assault on the Bill of Rights, the assault on everything that has been created over the last century has been from the people exclusively. I know that because, as a member of Congress, we got sworn in on January the 3rd, and Trump got sworn in on the 20th. And between January 3 and 20, that was a very scary period in my life because I would talk to fellow Democrats, and I was saying, Hillary got 3 million more votes than Trump, and we've got to fight and hang tough and stand up for what we believe. He said, well, you got to be cool about that. He is president of the United States. He did win an electoral college. We've got to give him 100 days. We've got to see what his program is. But after the Women's March, on Saturday, January 21st, everybody came back to Congress on that Monday, and what I heard from my colleagues is, we're going to fight. We're going to hang tough. We're going to stand up for everything we believe in because of the Women's March. So don't let anybody ever tell you that march or silent protest and emails don't make any difference. It makes all the difference in terms of stiffening the resolve of the Democrats and showing the Republicans at their town meetings where the American people really are. And that's been the key ingredient in our success, in our ability to hold the line so far. What we have before us is a model of government which is a money-making operation, essentially, for one family and a tiny group within society. That is a model of government that is spreading across the earth. I mean, it's basically what we have with Putin and his cabinet minister Medvedev, who is a public servant who's now worth more than $1 billion. And we had tens of thousands of Russians last month marching in the streets against political corruption and rip-offs in Russia and for human rights. Those are the Russians we should be meeting with, in open, publicly. Those are the Russians that we should be on the side of, not the kleptocrats and the autocrats and Putin's agents who are trying to subvert and undermine democracy all over the world. And all of the tyrants have found each other. Duterte in the Philippines, who Trump has invited to come to Washington. Orban in Hungary, who's completely authoritarian. Le Pen, who they wanted to win in France. Right-wing, immigrant-bashing, ultra-nationalist, xenophobe, Holocaust revisionist. That was their player in France. I mean, do we detect a trend about what's going on in the planet Earth? You know? And so the question for us is, you know, do we lie down and let all this happen? The very first day that I got into Congress, I went down to sign up for health care. Because at that point, we could still sign up for Obamacare in the District of Columbia, the Affordable Care Act, through our jobs. So I went down and I'm signing up, and there's a line of people, of other new members waiting to come in. I look at these Republicans and I say to myself, wait a second, please tell me these guys are not coming in to sign up for health insurance that they get by way of their job as a member of Congress. Then they're going to go upstairs and vote to strip health insurance from 24 million people, and that's exactly what they did. It's exactly what they did. But there's been a huge popular protest against it. Their stupid repeal bill has 9% support now. And if they think that we are going to lie down and let them take away health insurance from 23 million people, decimate Medicaid and Medicare, and defund Planned Parenthood, then they just don't know who we are, is the bottom line. They don't know who we are. And we've got to show them who we are. And we've got to show them what the real America is about. There's just too much at stake. We are not going to lie down and let Donald Trump and a cabinet of billionaires and bigots and bandits and bullies take away everything that our forebears built in America, that we have to do. I just want to say that the theme of your conference is extremely timely, because we know Donald Trump, whatever his psychological condition is, he does reflect real forces in American history, obviously, and there are lots of people still with him. But I think that the majority of American people are with us. We are not a racist country. We are not a misogynistic country. We are not a country that grabs people by the genitals as a form of social introduction. We are not a fascist country. We are a country that put its young people and its treasure and its stake into defeating fascism during World War II. And many people lost their lives fighting fascism. And so we're not switching sides, Steve Bannon, okay? We're not going to the other side. The alt-right is all wrong, but the USA is okay if we stand up and fight for it. So.